as angry as I am at Trump, which is very angry, and as angry as I am at people that are not pushing back on Trump, I am very angry about that. I also want to say, and I'm not assuming everybody here is a Democrat, but you can hear me say, I'm also incredibly angry at the National Democratic Party for losing a second election to Donald Trump. We should never have lost this election. We should never have lost this election. It is catastrophic. You tell me what the Democrats' education policy was in the last election. You tell me what the Democrats' health care policy was. You tell me if Democrats had an immigration policy that made any sense. So I'm not here to blame them for that, but that's part of what we have to figure out as well, because if we don't figure it out and we keep losing elections to Trump or whoever comes after Trump, the answer is we'll never solve it.
That was Democratic Senator Michael Bennet, who's running for governor of Colorado, during a town hall event last night in a district that's represented by Republican Congressman Jeff Hurd. Joining us now, Democratic Congressman Joe Morelle of New York. He's the ranking member of the Committee on House Administration. I want to pick up where Michael Bennet left off there, because he's channeling something that I hear when I go to Democratic town halls, this idea that the base is so eager to see Democrats fight. Throw the norms out. You guys are the party of traditional norms and kind of abiding by the etiquette rules of Washington. The grassroots no longer want that. Is that what we're starting to see in reaction to the Texas redistricting piece? States like California and even here in New York saying, I know that we were the party of fair maps, but screw that, it's over now?
Well, I think you're seeing, there's two different responses. One is being urged to be just like them, which we're not going to be. I think that, the values of our party and the values of the people who are attracted to the Democratic Party don't allow that. We're not going to be, the Queen of Hearts off with their head like Donald Trump does when he gets bad news or bad information or goes into Texas because he's afraid we're going to lose a midterm election. And so he's going to change all the rules midterm. We're not going to do that. But I think it is fair that you're seeing more energy, more anger, if you will. I think it's the word Senator Bennet used. And there is a need for us to be, as you say, to lose some of the genteel way that we've approached this and to be more fierce in our advocacy for the people that we represent. So I think both those things are happening. We're not going to become them. We're not going to become, a party of people who lie and cheat and just change the rules. But we're clearly changing the manner in which we engage.
But how then is it not a race to the bottom? Because I think that's what I look at. And in my conversations with other Democrats, they've said, yeah, I don't feel comfortable with the way that we are now adding fuel to this fire by saying it's tit for tat. But they feel forced, whether it's because of pressure from the base or because they look at the landscape and they say, all right, well, if they're going to change the maps midstream, what choice do we have? I mean, do you feel that tension? Do you have that concern?
I do. I think we have to bring more energy to this. I think we have to talk about the things that work. And as it relates to redistricting, what's clearly happened is if California, New York, New Jersey, we have decided to try to do nonpartisan redistricting.
Yeah.
And what the president has done is be hyper-partisan. He's now pinpointing specific states, say we're going to go back in and redraw the maps just to benefit the Republican Party, not the American people, not the people in those communities that have elected people, but we're going to change the rules. And I think that's forcing us to consider whether or not we can continue to do nonpartisan redistrict only in certain states, that there needs to be a national standard. And until we can achieve that national standard, we're going to have to look at what's in the interest of the people in the states that we represent.
I wonder when you see that there are embattled lawmakers in states like California, so Kevin Kiley, here in New York, Mike Lawler, saying, hey, wait a minute, I don't know about this mid-year redistricting that we're seeing in states like Texas. They want to, in theory, put forward legislation that would stop that. Do you think that's an opportunity point here? I mean, you'd have to contend with Republican leadership not putting that on the floor, but is there not opportunity here to pull some of those moderate Republican members and say, OK, let's do some federal legislating on stopping redistricting midterm or doing nonpartisan maps? I mean, is that a conversation? Who's drafting that legislation?
Well, I think that would be a conversation we would certainly want to partner with them on, whether it's the people on my committee who have jurisdiction here or whether it's people like Kevin Kiley. He's got my phone number. He can pick up the phone and call me. I'm happy to talk to him. But you know what? He might want to pick up the phone first and call Donald Trump and the people in the White House and say, you are opening Pandora's box when it comes to redistricting, and this is going to affect people all around this country. And if he truly believes in it, and it's not just a way to avoid what he's facing, which is electoral challenges, if this happens, then I think he might be able to have an impact. He should be calling Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House. He should be calling the President. He should be calling the governor of Texas and saying, why are you starting something that once this begins, it's hard to figure out where it ends? And he could be a victim potentially. I assume that's why he's doing it, because he's demonstrated no courage up till now. But honestly, if he wants to call and wants to talk about it, I'm all ears. I'm happy to do that. National standards that would protect people, to allow voters to choose their representatives instead of the other way around.
I have a final question for you that layers the hyper-partisan environment that we've been talking about with what you deal with every day on the House Admin Committee, which is security for members. Do you see in this increasingly tribal and partisan environment that actions like what's happening in Texas are layered on top of more threats for lawmakers? I mean, what are you seeing in terms of an uptick? There's
no question. In the last decade, we have seen a 1,000-fold increase in the number of threats against members of Congress. And my counterpart, the chairman of the House Administration Committee, Brian Stile from Wisconsin, and I have worked on this in a bipartisan fashion. But look, the American people don't want us to be spending a lot more resources on our safety. They want public safety for everyone, which we understand. But we just have to balance the demands on members of Congress and staff and families, and make sure that they're safe and make sure we use taxpayers' dollars wisely.
Yeah, I think it's really important, though, to make sure that everyone who's participating in public service is safe, because that is a public service. Right. Democratic Congressman Joe Morelle of New York, thank you for coming in.
Thank you.